This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Republicans are fast and furious right now in their attempt to take down Joe Biden. And they know it's not going to be successful. They don't get the votes in the Senate, first of all. And that's not even to speak of the fact that it is absolute fabrication what they're doing. They are manufacturing a scandal out of thin air in an attempt to impeach and remove Joe Biden. You know, the constitutional standard, the Constitution, which Republicans like to wave around and act like they care about, is high crimes and misdemeanors, bribery, things like that. So they're trying to make a case that Joe Biden is involved in bribery, although they can't point to, because a bribery it's a quid pro quo. It's, you're gonna do this for me if I give you this money. But they can't really point to any policy that was changed. They really can't even point to money that was received at all. And every once in a while, you'll see a glimmer from a leader in the Republican Party saying, there's just no evidence. This is all nonsense. Even Fox News, time after time after time with James Comer is like, but these are allegations, these are accusations, but there's no actual evidence of anything at all. In fact, a lot of the things that James Comer is accusing President Biden of, he himself is guilty of. So when Lindsey Graham went on with Kristen Welker and Meet the Press yesterday and was asked directly, and he says, if there was a smoking gun of evidence, we'd be talking about it. That's the same thing I've been saying for 6 months or so. But let me tell you, to drive the point home, when a servile dog, lapdog, like Lindsey Graham, someone who's sold his soul to Donald Trump long ago, has betrayed lifelong, meaningful friendships like with the McCain family for Donald Trump, when even he is saying, there's nothing here, there's nothing here. So first I'm going to play this brief clip of Lindsey Graham, and then I'm going to go to the Republican pep rally this weekend with idiot Marjorie Taylor Greene taking Lindsey Graham to task on stage and threatening having someone primary him and run against him in an upcoming election. First, Lindsey Graham with Kristen Welker.
Okay, let's turn to the other big story on Capitol Hill, the impeachment, of course, of impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Your colleague, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, said that he does not see any evidence, quote, that the president is guilty of anything. Do you agree with him? Is there any evidence so far?
I haven't really been paying that much attention to it. They have to prove that President Biden somehow financially benefited from the business enterprises of Hunter Biden. We'll see.
Have they done it yet, in your mind?
If there were a smoking gun, I think we'd be talking about it. But
two things. Well, maybe more than that. The fact that he admits he's not paying much attention to it really should tell you everything you need to know. That first and foremost, that a sitting United States president is being investigated, and an impeachment inquiry was just voted on, and a sitting United States senator who will sit in judgment of this, if it gets that far, says, I'm not even paying attention to it. That's how little concern he has for this earth-shattering, history-making scandal involving Joe Biden. Secondly, he says, they got to prove that Joe Biden financially benefited. Well, Joe Biden wasn't president when any of the things that are being alleged happened. So if he did financially benefit from some business deal, that's not a smoking gun. They have to show that there was a benefit. Anyway, all of that is nonsense because it doesn't matter. Nothing has been proved. Nothing. There is no evidence that even points in the direction of wrongdoing. Look, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not a cheerleader for the party. If Joe Biden did something wrong, I would say he did something wrong. I criticize Joe Biden a lot. A lot. If you've listened to my podcast, there's a lot of talk about things that I wish were better and different with the Joe Biden administration, Kamala Harris. So I'm not one who is afraid of or would demur from criticizing the President of the United States. You take a job with this much responsibility, you should be held to a high standard of both behavior and performance. And so far, I think, for the most part, he's lived up to that responsibility, to those performance requirements, as far as I'm concerned. But this is all nonsense. It's an embarrassment that can't be felt because Republicans are unable to feel embarrassed. They cannot be humiliated because they are shameless. It is a dignity-free performance on every day, on every occasion, every time they step in front of a camera. Which leads us to Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's trashing Lindsey Graham for this very interview, for the clip you just watched. Watch this.
How can Lindsey Graham in Washington, D.C. on Meet the Press say that he hasn't seen a smoking gun of evidence, that he doesn't think that we produce enough evidence to impeach Joe Biden? Let me ask the American people, do you think that we have produced enough evidence to impeach Joe Biden? Well, I think somebody better run for senator in South Carolina.
Well, that settles it. Marjorie Taylor Greene pulled the audience at America Fest 2023. And they cheered with delight. So, of course, they must. The question, do you think we've produced enough evidence to impeach Joe Biden? And the crowd goes wild. What more do you need? They're convinced. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has a moment on stage, she has not limitless time, but she has enough time to list one or two or three. I mean, I would be happy if only one single piece of evidence would have been shown here. She could have just said one, just briefly mention one piece of evidence. Instead, it's, what do y'all think? Hee hee! And they scream with delight. You see, to Republicans, Twitter polls are scientific and accurate. When Elon Musk or some other dipshit goes on Twitter and makes a poll, those results are scientifically come to. Those are rock solid, unassailable results. Same with this. She polled the audience at America Fest, so the rest of the country must think that too. And also, it doesn't matter what the American people think about the evidence. What is the evidence? She can't mention it. She can't talk about it. She can't demonstrate it. But it doesn't matter to MAGA world because they'll believe anything. They'll go along with anything, so they'll have a talking point to defend their dear leader, Donald Trump. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can leave a comment below, help with the algorithm. You can also email me, daily@dollemore.com. If you appreciate what I do and you want to help support, if you thought about it, maybe you thought, $2 isn't much, it's not going to help a lot. If I'm able to marshal the size of my audience and utilize the numbers that we have here, and 5% or 10%, that would be bananas, but every little bit goes a long way. For $2 a month, you can help support. Click the join button below, become a channel member, hit the super thanks button, or go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. And after all of that, if you still want to be connected, follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky, all of them, @Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.